Now the author of the brand new book out today, With All Due Respect, Defending America with Grit and Grace, former U.S. ambassador to the UN and former governor of the great state of South Carolina. Nikki Haley is with us. Governor, how are you? Good to see you again.
Oh, great to see you, Sean, and happy Veterans Day to my husband, Michael, my brother, Mitty, and all the veterans and their families who have sacrificed for the heart and soul of America.
Amen. Because all these interviews or books are short, you do give a great life story that I really want people to read. They'll know a lot about you. I found out things about you that I found quite inspiring, actually, and your rise to be the governor of South Carolina, then UN ambassador. What has gotten a lot of people's attention is the conversation about an hour, Rex Tillerson, General Kelly, and I guess tell that story, and out of it, I was wondering, why did you not feel, or did you at any point feel a need to tell the president, hey, this is what these guys are doing?
Well, I did tell the president. I mean, keep in mind, Sean, this is one page out of 250 pages of the book. But I did tell the president, and I did tell the National Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster, and there were others that knew of my concerns in the process. And let's keep in mind, I mean, what I have said is this wasn't that these guys thought this was a rogue president. This was that these guys disagreed with his policy. They disagreed with us getting out of the Paris Climate Agreement. They disagreed with us getting out of the Iran deal. They disagreed with moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So when the president was charting a different course and really giving us a strong hand for America and for our friends, they just thought that he was going in the wrong direction. And so when they sat me down that day, they were attempting to tell me that if I would work with them, they were trying to save America and keep people from dying. But we saw when the embassy moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, the sky is still up there. It didn't fall, and we didn't see casualties. What we saw was a courageous moment by the president that many presidents had tried before that was very successful, and it acknowledged a fact, which Jerusalem is the capital of Israel.
Let me, it's very interesting because I look at your relationship with the president. On the one hand, it seems great. Trump and I understood each other. You talk about how much freedom he gave you to do his job and what his mandate was, and his governing style was one that you like. When you were first asked about the impeachment issue, you said, well, that's like the death penalty for a public official. But you commented you didn't think it was a good practice to ask a foreign country to investigate an American, period. I want to take a little issue with that part because I've read this transcript. America's read this transcript. And the president has an oath to faithfully execute the laws of the land. A Ukrainian court said Ukraine interfered in our 2016 elections. The president's asking to get to the bottom of it. We also have Joe Biden on tape basically bragging about, well, a quid pro quo. If you fire the guy, you get $1 billion. You have 6 hours, a guy that he knew was investigating his son. To me, that sounds like a crime. What does it sound like to you?
Well, I've said before, if you look at the transcript, it's very clear that the president wasn't demanding that this be done. The Ukrainians didn't do the investigation. The president released the aid as he should. I, in practice, don't think it's good for us to ever ask foreign governments to investigate Americans, but I think it goes to the fact that Americans should be investigating Americans, and Americans should be asking the questions of Joe Biden and asking the questions of his son and finding out exactly what was going on with that situation and get down to the bottom of it. There have been a lot of investigations that have been very one-sided against the president, and they haven't been looking at the other side, which is all of the other issues. And, whether it was the Russian situation, I'd like for them to go back and say, what was President Obama's role in that situation, in the fact that all of that stuff happened? In this situation, what was Joe Biden's role, and what was Hunter Biden's role in that process as well? So there's a lot of questions that need to be asked.
As you look at as we now head into this 2020 election, and you talked about a lot your relationship. Seems like you mostly had a good relationship with the president when you worked for him. And you look at the Democratic candidates, and you talk about Trump, the disruptor, but yet he always listened to you, and you would tell him how you felt. But that's the person I've known for over 25 years. Do you think that the president's misunderstood?
I do think he's misunderstood. I can tell you from the first day to the last day that I worked for the president, he always listened. He was always conscious of hearing other voices, allowing people to debate out the issues, and then he made his decision. He is a disruptor, and this is the time in our country where we needed a disruptor. But there wasn't a time where I called him and said, look, I think we should look at this another way, where he didn't say, well, how do you see that playing out? And we had a great discussion over it. I still consider him a friend today. And I will tell you that that's what's been so hard, is I think that they've been trying to impeach him since the second he was inaugurated. And I think that if you look at the results of what this president has done, you're seeing record unemployment. You're seeing an economy that's booming. Look at the stock market from last week. But you're seeing real hard decisions that were made. Getting out of the Iran deal, moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, getting us out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which was an unfair situation, getting actually Kim in North Korea to come to the negotiating table. I mean, there have been some really tough, courageous stands that have been made. And in all scenarios, I saw a president who was very thoughtful, looked at all of the issues, made decisions, and it was a pleasure and honor to work with them. And I will tell you that it's not what people portray. This was someone that the reason we got along so well is because I told him the truth. And he was always willing to listen to that. And so I think it's too bad that a lot of people don't want to see that what you see on TV is what you get, but what you see behind the scenes is someone who really cares about America and wants to do everything he can to strengthen it.
You know, it's funny because disruptor, I guess, in today's language for a politician means actually keeping your promises, which I think will be a big part of his reelection campaign.
That's right.
Congratulations on the book. Ambassador, thank you for being with us. And straight ahead, the Republicans, they have